What is up, guys, and welcome to my LBA Week 3 match, and this is going to be against JJ and the LA Nidokings, and I know what you're thinking, and no, this is not a live Wi-Fi battle. What I'm going to do is, well, first of all, I'm really busy. I don't have time to record a full team analysis thing, so I'm going to do what my buddy Hank did in GBA and other leagues that he was in, and just show you the team, and then I'm going to do the battle, and I'm going to, live record the battle, but I'm not gonna narrate it live. I'm just gonna record the live battle as it goes on, just in case it DCs, and then I'll post comment some people in the GBA do, I guess. I'm not comparing myself or anything like that because I don't care. But this way, it's basically like a safeguard against disconnects and things, so we can keep track of what goes on if there's DC, because DCs are fucking stupid, and my Wi-Fi likes to be shit sometimes. So anyways, JJ's team: Weavile, Garchomp, Togekiss, Metagross, not Mega, Milotic, Rotom Heat, Mega Venusaur, Shaman, Scolipede, and Zoroark. Pretty scary. He's got he's got the Firewater Grass, Fairy Dragon Steel thing, so he's got all those basic cores and stuff. He's got some spooky stuff like Zoroark and Scolipede and stuff like that that's spooky, and Weavile. I felt like I'm pretty well prepped for everything that he can throw at me. Zoroark could potentially be a problem if I play it really badly, but I don't intend on playing it really badly because I'm too good for that. But basically, I'll go over my team, and the 6 I brought are Manaphy, Klefki, Tyranitar, Excadrill, Mega Manectric, and Crobat. So I'll first go to Manaphy, which is Shark Bait. And as you can see, this is the Calm Mind Rain Rest set. This is max HP, max defense with 20 speed EVs, just in case I can speed creep like a no-speed Garchomp, or if he's trying to speed creep 0-speed Manaphy or something like that, then there's that, and stuff like that. But yeah, defensive Rain Rest Manaphy, really good. Can set up Calm Minds and win. It can very well beat his team if he doesn't bring the right things for it, and if I weaken his team and get rid of spooky things to it like Haze Milotic and potentially Life Orb Shaman, and if I dodge a trick from something like a Choice Rotom, then I can sweep his team potentially. Mega Venusaur, I'm actually not too scared of it if I can Calm Mind a little beforehand, because if I get up some Calm Minds, then Giga Drain can't do too much, and I could even stall out the Giga Drains barring a crit. But basically what Manaphy's going to do is Manaphy is going to sponge up all the hits from shit like Weavile and Metagross and Garchomp to an extent, and can take a lot from Zoroark, and it's just a really nice check to a lot of his team, and it serves as my main win condition, I'd like to believe. But yeah, this thing should put a lot of pressure on, and it gives me a really nice check to Weavile, because usually I'm super weak to Weavile, and this thing takes absolutely nothing from it. Next, got Klefki, Kagi, Spadef thing, max HP and special defense, Calm Nature, Lefties, Prankster, and got Spikes, T-Wave, Magnet Res, Flash Cannon. This thing should be pretty nice to check things like Scolipede, Choice Guard, Garchomp. It checks the hell out of... It really does a nice job checking Togekiss, because he can't spam Air Slash on me. Of course he can use Fire Blast, but I can... If he goes for Fire Blast, that probably means he's choiced, and that means that I can go into my T-Tar not Excadrill, but go into T-Tar and kill it, or go into Manaphy and set up on it. Yeah, this thing gets out the spikes for me, paralyzes stuff, makes sure I don't get swept by things like Scolipede, does a nice job checking Shaman as well, and Togekiss, and also doesn't take much of anything from Weavile. Its strongest move to go for is Knock Off, which doesn't do half, which is cool. I was originally going with Fizz Def and a different set, but once I changed my move set, I saw that Spadef would be better, because I can just dodge Earthquakes from stuff like Garchomp, and this way, if he's mixed, I can take a Fire Blast, because I don't fear anything from a physical Garchomp, unless of course he has Fire Fang, which would be stupid. But yeah, Klefki should be good, gets up spikes for me, which is handy because it wears down Weavile and Garchomp and other stuff of the sort. And yeah, so let's move on to T-Tar, Didara, And this week I'm bringing Choice Banded Didara, and this one is really fast. Max attack, as you can see with the Adamant Nature, 110 speed, I don't remember the investment, but it's a lot. It's gonna creep on, I think it creeps defensive Rotom. I have a ton of speed ported in this thing, so it's gonna outspeed all of his it'll outspeed an uninvested Rotom Heat, which if he brings defensive, then I can just outspeed it and then super dead it before it can do anything to me, and that should be cool. I don't really need to bring like max HP because the things that can attack me on his team will like kill me anyways, and I wanted to be sure that I could outspeed his defensive core because Choice Banded Tyranitar fucks up his defensive core. My set is Stone Edge, Pursuit, Crunch, and Ice Punch because I forgot to talk about that. Stone Edge, he really doesn't have much to switch into it. His only resists to Rock are Metagross and Garchomp, and that's why I have Crunch for the Metagross and Ice Punch for the Garchomp. They both get completely destroyed by a banded thing, and basically the thing with T-Tar is nothing can switch in as long as I predict right, and my last slot was Pursuit, which was my second thing, but it's my last slot because I didn't need anything else, and I guess it would let me like pick something off that needed to be picked off in a squeeze or whatever. And yeah, this thing should just do a shit ton of damage and break down his team, and also provide sand for Excadrill, which I am bringing the Sand Rush set this week. And yeah, this thing should just hit his team really, really, really hard, and hopefully he's just not speed creeping my creeps with stuff like Rotom, because then I'd be sad. And we'll move on to Excadrill, and Yashiro is going to be packing Jolly's Sandforce this week. And the reason I'm packing Jolly is because I want to be able to outspeed things like Rotom Heat if it's max speed, and Togekiss if it's max speed outside of the sand, just as insurance, because since I'm running Banded Tyranitar, that means that I'm only going to have 5 turns of sand, so I can't rely on Excadrill being in when sand is up all the time, so I just want to make sure I can outspeed and do a lot of damage to the things that I want to outspeed and do a lot of damage to. So, Jolly, I'm pretty much max speed enough to outrun timid max speed Rotom Heat. Tiny little bit of defense investment, I think, and max attack with the Jolly nature. Of course, if I ran Adamant, it would hit a little harder, but it only makes a 6% difference, which, yeah, it definitely could matter, so I could regret it, but it makes sense for me, in my mind, to run Jolly, because I don't want to end up being faced off against, like, a Rotom that tricked away its Scarf, and then it kills me with an Overheat when I could have killed it with a Rock Slide, because I'm slower, or something like that. But yeah, thing does a lot of damage, can sweep through his team late game, doesn't have a lot of good switch-ins to it. His best would be defensive Rotom, and Rock Slide does a healthy 40-ish%, so definitely can't OHKO the thing, but I can do a lot. And also checks things like, you know, not really Scolipede because it can protect and be annoying around me, but definitely a check to Togekiss, checks Weavile under the sand, and it just does a lot of damage to things like his Fire Water Grass Core, and like Mega Venusaur and Melodic cannot switch into an Earthquake, especially if I have spikes up. So yeah, there's the thing. If he brings a defensive Shaman, though, I'm kind of fucked, but I have plenty of checks for defensive Shaman. Next thing I got, Killua, Mega Manectric, standard as hell. Timid with enough speed for Garchomp in base form, max special attack, and a tiny little bit of HP or something. Doesn't matter. Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Hidden Power Ice because he has Garchomp, and Overheat. I want to Overheat because it's going to do a lot more to the Metagross, and it does significantly more to the Metagross and also to the Shaman, and I want to be able to pick those things off at a higher, if they're at a higher amount of health, because those things could be potentially spook, but I know Overheat's cool. I go back and forth between liking and not liking it, but I felt it was appropriate in this match because I feel like I'm going to be clicking Volt Switch with this thing a lot, so I don't mind getting those drops, and for the most part Volt Switch is going to be there for momentum and not damage because he has a lot of electric resist on his team, but it does really check things like Togekiss, and it can beat up the it can beat up the Milotic a little bit and stuff like that. And also, it kind of maybe sort of forces him to bring Scarf Garchomp. I'm definitely expecting him to bring a Scarf Chomp set over anything else. So if he doesn't do that, that's fine, because the Scarf Chomp is spook. But I have checks for Scarfed Earthquake, even though my team looks super weak to it on paper. And yeah, so this thing should be nice to get some momentum, take advantage of Spike's damage and stuff like that, and just get lots of chip and things. It wasn't super important on the team. I basically had 4 or 5 mons that I knew I wanted, and then this was like kind of a throw-in at the end. And last but not least is Crobat, Femto, and originally he had Mega Gallade instead of Mega Venusaur, but then Mega Venusaur got dropped, and then he picked up Mega Venusaur. So originally this was Black Sludge, and I had a light clay Klefki, but now I've got bulky pivot Crobat. Well, it's not a pivot, but bulky Crobat fast thing, and I'm running Rockin' Majolly with enough speed for his Weavile, then max HP, and I think 44 in Spadef was my investment. And I have Inner Focus because, you know, fuck Scarf Togekiss. I do not want to get flinched to death at all. That sounds awful. And I've got Safety Goggles so I can safely switch into Mega Venusaur a lot of the time. Of course, if he's like offensive with HP, Psychic, or whatever, it could hurt, but I am prepared for Mega Venusaur pretty well. And I think he'd be more likely to bring some other coverage like Earthquake or Hidden Power Fire since I've got Klefki and Excadrill and stuff. But yeah, this thing nice checked some stuff like that Togekiss, Braybird, Roost, Taunt, Super Fang. It basically shuts down stuff that would be annoying, like if he was support Togekiss, shut down. Super Fang's nice to hit stuff like Metagross, bulky Garchomp, and other fat things that are fat and can take on a Crobat well, but don't have any way to recover the health. I was kind of back and forth between Taunt and Toxic, but I feel like Taunt's better because I can totally shut down things like, I don't know, Leech Seed Shaman, which this is probably my best check to Shaman since it has better recovery since Klefki, and I don't want to switch Klefki into an Earth Power. Stops a Mega Venusaur. He could have knockoff, but if he does, then oh well. I don't really have any knockoff bait on my team. Yeah, Super Fang's a nice lure to weaken things, and just is a nice check to stuff like Scolipede. One thing I want to mention is if you bring Scolipede, he has to bring a ton of coverage moves to hit everything on my team. Like, he needs to bring Poison Jab, and he needs to bring Mega Horn, and he needs to bring Earthquake, and he has to bring Stone Edge and potentially Superpower and all this sort of stuff. So I kind of don't think he will, because he simply doesn't have enough coverage for it. Of course, he could just bring it and break things and be walled by other things, but I'm not super scared of Scolipede because Klefki and Manaphy beat it pretty well along with this thing. So yeah, Crobat should be nice to whittle things down and be annoying for him. And yeah, that's it. So I'll see you for the battle. Bye. So here we go, it's time for the battle. Looking at his team, he brought Milotic, Garchomp, Metagross, Shaman, Mega Venusaur, and Zoroark. Looking at his team, honestly, I thought that all 10 of his mons had a good reason to be on his team, so I was prepared for pretty much anything, but the thing that I was least prepared for really was that Shaman. And looking at his team, he brought both of his grass types, he brought Milotic, and he didn't bring a lot of the things that Manaphy was meant to beat up, like, well, mainly that Weavile. So I was thinking that the likelihood of me sweeping with Calm Mind Manaphy is very, very low. So that's just one thing to think about. So I thought that Manaphy had a little less importance in this game. Looking at it, since he has those two grass types, Crobat should be huge in this game. And he also his team is grounded completely, so spikes are going to be huge. He doesn't have a way to get rid of those hazards, so if I get up spikes, that'll be great to pressure his team. And also, a late game Excadrill will do very good if I can weaken that Shaman, because I'm almost 100% positive that's going to be some kind of bulky Shaman to take Earthquakes from Excadrill. And looking at the other compositions of it, looking at the other things on his team, composition is most likely bulky thing, Milotic, Scarf Garchomp. I was almost 100% sure it would be Scarf Garchomp coming into this in my planning. Probably just like a Assault Vest Metagross, potentially some sort of berry. I was definitely expecting bulky offensive Mega Venusaur. I didn't expect it to be a defensive one, and I wasn't sure exactly what Zoroark was going to be doing. It could be mixed, it could be specs, it could be SD, or it could be anything really. I wasn't sure. I wasn't really that afraid of Zoroark as long as I didn't get totally fooled by it, but I don't think anything on my team gets totally wrecked by it unless he really pulls one on me. So anyways, let's get into the battle. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to be leading off with my Crobat since it matches up really, really well against his team. He didn't bring Weavile, which was like the biggest threat to it, which is cool, but he did bring the Metagross, and I can't do anything with this Metagross, so I have to switch directly out, but I do have my physically defensive Manaphy, which can take anything from an Assault Vested Metagross. So he's going to go ahead and go for the Meteor Mash. It misses, but that would have done nil. That would have done absolutely nothing. I would have almost been back up at full after the leftovers recovery, so it really, really didn't matter. I guess he could have seen that I was physically defensive Manaphy, but my team is so hard checked by Manaphy, it doesn't really matter. Anyways, it's pretty obvious that he has like a million things that check my Manaphy, so I'm going to go back into Crobat because my Crobat beats the things that check Manaphy, and he first goes into his Milotic, so I'm definitely thinking this is either Haze or Dragon Tail or something. Anyways, I'm going to go for the Super Fang as he brings back into Metagross, and I'm going to take off half this thing's health. And here I make the dumbest play of the game, and here's where you have to really, really think about risk versus reward, as I thought he'd try and pull a double on my Manaphy and try and get some momentum, and I go for the Super Fang, but as you see, he stays in, clicks Zen Headbutt, and he's going to kill my Crobat. It's like, oh my god, why did I do that? Because now I don't have a good way of beating his Shaman, and that's going to be a huge problem. Anyways, I'm going to go out into my Excadrill, fire off an Earthquake, and threaten this thing out. I guess if I had my predicting pants on, I could have Iron-Headed the incoming Shaman, which would have done a little more damage, but I'm going to fire off the Earthquake. It does nothing, and I do expect this thing to have lefties. It does have lefties, and I was like, shit. This thing is going to be a humongous problem to my team because I have nothing that outspeeds it and kills it, aside from Mega Manectric, which can do a shit ton with an Overheat, but that's hard to get off. He goes for the subs, I was like, alright, Subseed, that's not good. But the thing is, he probably has Psychic and Seed Flare as his coverage, so that means that Earth Power will most likely not be on his moveset, which is cool. He's going to miss the Leech Seed, which is nice for me because that means that I'll be not losing health as fast, and I can 2-hit KO his sub with the Flash Cannon. He's going to go for the Leech Seed now. Not a huge deal because Klefki doesn't have a very high HP stat, so if he wants to like go back out and heal his Metagross, it's not going to be getting much health from Klefki because, like I said, Klefki only has, I think, base 75 HP, and that's kind of fine with me. I don't think he's going to stay in. It doesn't really matter if he does, because I can just set up layer spikes. Most likely he was going to go into his Metagross, but I'm not afraid of this Metagross at all because I have Manaphy. So I'm going to like the spike, and that's big. I want to get up all my spikes in this game because that's pretty much the only way I'm thinking I'm going to be able to win is getting up spikes, pressuring his team with Excadrill and that kind of thing. Anyways, I have Manaphy, easy switch in of my life into this thing. He goes for the mash, and look at this. That does nothing. That does absolutely nothing. He gets the attack boost, which is unfortunate because now this thing is going to hurt me a little more. But the thing is, I have Scald, and you know what Scald does? Scald burns. Scald burns, baby. And we also get the Zen Miss, which, it's unfortunate. Mighty unfortunate, but in the long run it doesn't really matter because of how things transpire, as we'll see later. But anyways, I'm gonna go for Scald, get a crit, doesn't matter. Metagross dies, which is cool. Manaphy gets his third kill this season, yeah, third kill, and I'm back up at full, which is nice. And he's gonna go out into his Venusaur and get his Mega up, and obviously I don't want to take a Giga Drain. After Calm Mind, it's still doing about half, and I don't want to play around with him sleeping me and me not being rained up and sleeped and stuff. But yeah, I've got a Klefki. Klefki is a very nice switch in this. If I had my Crobat, it would have been a better switch since I was safety goggles, so I couldn't get slept or anything. He's going to go for the Giga Drain. Does nothing. I still expect this thing to be offensive, and here what I should have done is gone directly for the Magnet Rise, but I'm going to go for the T-Wave instead to slow this thing down, which, you know what, is fine with me because paralyzing this thing is okay, even though I should have more heavily considered the fact that this thing was going to have Earthquake. But at the same time, I knew I could live in Earthquake, and paralyzing this thing would be really helpful. And I don't really need my Klefki on that high of HP in this game. And what Magnet Rise is going to help me do is it's going to get me a lot of free lefty turns, hopefully. So I'm going to go for the Magnet Rise here, and it's going to get me a free turn of leftovers as he gets paralyzed. I'm pretty sure he was going for Earthquake. No other play really I saw he'd make, as he's going to switch out here, so if he didn't go for the Earthquake there, then I'm not sure what he'd be doing, because if he had Hidden Power, he'd still go for it. But anyways, Because of that play, I'm going to be able to get 2 turns of lefties, which is nice. And here I should have laid up my second layer of spikes, but I just went for a flash cannon because I want to damage the Mega Venusaur a little bit, even though it wouldn't have done much. But anyways, a little more lefties. That's going to be a big thing, as Klefki is going to be sticking around, and it's going to be on the field a lot. Anyways, I have Shark Bait. Shark Bait, choose anything that this Milotic wants to go for. And while I can't touch it, I can Calm Mind and see what it wants to do, because I don't know what it wants to do. I don't know if it's Mirror Coat. It's quite possibly Mirror Coat. It's either Mirror Coat, Haze, or Dragon Tail, because why would you not have any of those when there's a Manaphy on the other side of the field? Anyways, I Calm Mind, he Scald, he burns me. Unfortunate, but that's what Scald does, and that's the only Scald burn he'll get. Spoilers. But here, I'm going to fire off the Scald because I kind of want to burn this thing and help start wearing it down. And also, it was quite possible he'd go into this or Shaman, as this isn't his thing, it's a Zoroark. And that was, depending on his set, that was either a very high roll on a Jolly set, which had a 7% chance to kill after spikes, or it was a very low roll on a Hasty set. Anyways, he's going to knock me off and then die to his Life Orb, which is rude because I couldn't get a kill on it or heal up on it. I really wish it wasn't Life Orb so that I could heal on the thing, but oh well. Anyways, I'm going to rain up, but at this point he has Shaman. He can bring Shaman in, and I see that there's no way I can heal this thing up on Shaman, and it's unlikely that I'll be able to heal up Manaphy on anything at this point unless I can get it in on my Milotic and get 2 turns or still have it under the rain. But I got Klefki. Klefki can chew 2 Seed Flares from there. As you can see, it only did about it did a little less than 40 damage. And after lefties, I can definitely take another. He's going to Leech Seed. Annoying. I went for the Flash Cannon because I wanted to be able to 2-hit KO a sub if he went for it. And even after lefties and after Leech Seed, I'll still be able to take a thingy because, you know, Klefki, Spit F Clef, can take a Seed Flare like it's nothing. And what I'm going to do here is switch out, and I go into my Manectric because most likely he was not going for the thing again, and I wanted to get my Mega up really badly with this, and I wanted to get rid of those Leech Seeds because it felt like the right thing to do, I guess. But yeah, I'm going to be able to go, and I'm going to click Volt Switch because I feel like I'm going to die to a Seed Flare, and I don't want to click Overheat because it's in the rain, and I don't want to click HP Ice because I don't want to die to the Seed Flare. So I'm going to Volt Switch. I know it's not going to break it, but I just wanted to get that Mega off because reasons, I guess. It wasn't really that necessary in this game, but oh well. He's going to Seed Flare again, and it puts me in range of 1 more, so that's not good. Not good at all. But as you can see, Klefki is a god. And what we're going to do here is realize that Seed Flare has this thing called an 85% accuracy. And the thing with things that have 85% accurate moves is they tend to miss. So I'm going to go for the Flash Cannon here, and they tend to miss. And I'm going to go for Flash Cannon, break the Subarino, and that is perfect. Because now lefties takes me out of range potentially of a Seed Flare, maybe? Not sure, but I'm going to Thunder Wave it because, you know, if we full parrot, that's awesome, and we full parrot it. So Klefki is turning into the Hax God of the Century, as now I'm definitely out of range of a Seed Flare, and what I can do is just fire off a Flash Cannon here and get damage, because if he does anything, I want damage. He's going to go back into his Milotic, and I'm okay with this, I guess. Takes a spike, takes a little Flash Cannon damage, and what I didn't notice in the game was that he did not have an item. I totally didn't think about it. But anyways, right here, I believe, what do I do? I'm going to go to my Manectric right here because I need to get something going. I really need to get something going. I should be able to take a Scald pretty easily, and I was pretty sure that he wasn't going to be competitive. And he's not, so that's cool. Scald's going to come in, it's going to do less than half, and here I had a dilemma, Volt Switch or HP Ice. I was pretty sure that Mega Venusaur was a much safer switch into this thing, so I click Volt Switch, he goes into Garchomp. I was really close to clicking HP Ice, so that's unfortunate because this thing is definitely, obviously, super duper Choice Scarfed, and I have to switch out and fodder my Manaphy, which is not good. So yeah, had I gone for the HP Ice, my life would have been easier because this Garchomp just cleans through my team if I don't have Klefki Magnet-Rised, and it's not in range of Excadrill's Earthquake yet unless I crit it, which, you know, would be cool, but right here, I can Magnet Rise and make sure that he can't hit me with Earthquake, even though I'm positive he's Scarfed. I guess I could have just gone directly for the Spike there, or the Flash Cannon, as he shows he has Citrus Berry. I don't know why he has Citrus Berry, but he does, so whatever, power to him. Anyways, I got my Magnet Rise, get a little lefties. I'm not going to die to a Scald, so I can get up my Spikes. And basically my game plan here is to get up my all 3 layers of Spikes. He's going to go for the Scald. Scald plus Burn will not kill me after lefties for sure, and that is perfect. And right here, it's pretty obvious that Recover is his play because he knows I can't touch him and he can't prevent me from getting up that 3rd layer. So he's going to Recover, that's fine, and I just fire for Flash Cannon because I don't want to paralyze this thing and activate Marvel Scale and make it so my Tyranitar can't 2-hit KO it. But basically the game plan is he's going to kill me, he's going to go for the Scald and crit me, which it doesn't matter. The damage that Flash Cannon would have done is minuscule and irrelevant. But now I'm going to go into Tyranitar, Choice Banded T-Tar, he has no Dark Resist, I'm clicking Banded Adamant Crunch, I speed crept this thing, it worked, and that does a ton of damage. As, whew, even if he burned me there, I still would have been able to knock him out with the 2nd Crunch, and here's where we got things cooking. So I killed him Milotic, Banded T-Tar doing so much damage, this thing is so strong. But now he goes into Garchomp, and looking at that health, and it's like, alright, you look like you're in range of an Excadrill Earthquake, so what I have to do, fodder off Manectric, get a free drop into Excadrill, and I've been counting my sand turns, I only have 5 of them, I've used up 3 of them at this point, so right now I have 2 turns to do as much damage as possible with Excadrill, and I'm going to click Earthquake, everything on his team is going to get 2-hit KO'd, even if he brings in Shaman. With those spikes are huge, because I'm going to click the Earthquake, and because I have those spikes up, it's not a 50-50 between going for Iron Head and going for Earthquake, because after the sand, after the spikes, after the Earthquake damage, and Iron Head's going to kill that Shaman. I'm confident as hell about that. He goes into the guy, and I'm going to go for the Earthquake. It's not going to do much, but after the sand damage negating those leftovers, there is no way in hell that this thing is going to be taking an Iron Head from my Excadrill. So I go for the Iron Head, and it dies. So here's the crunch time. All I can do at this point, as sand wears out, I have to go into T-Tar, sack T-Tar, get up the sand, and then I have 4 turns to make something happen. Obviously, I'm going to kill this thing with an Earthquake, but all depends on will I Hax the Venusaur for 1 turn. Do I get a Para or a Flinch with an Iron Head? And if I do that, I win. If I don't, I lose. So, die to DQ, as expected. Now I go into Excadrill, and now it's time for Yashiro to be the hero that he is. So I click Earthquake, no reason not to, and shake the ground, kill the thing, and now it's just Excadrill versus a paralyzed Mega Venusaur. So I go into my calcs, double check it, I'm pretty damn sure this thing's offensive, and I look at the things, Iron Head, Earthquake's not going to kill it, and I'm not banking on a crit, no way, because my chances of 2-hit KOing him with Flinch or Para with Iron Head is much higher. He gets parried. He gets the Para, and that means I win the game by clicking Earthquake and killing this guy. So Yashiro is able to come through with a huge late game sweep with the sand and a little bit of hacks, and well, a lot of hacks. There was so much hacks in this game. I'm sorry, JJ, about that. But you know what? The Hacks God smiled upon me for once. Usually they don't like me in the LBA, but for once it was different, and I'm cool with that. But yeah, Excadrill was huge in this game. Got 3 kills, but for real, he is not the MVP. The MVP of this game is Klefki. Kagi set this shit up for me. He got up all 3 layers of spikes. He dodged everything that could be thrown at him. He paralyzed things. He made sure that Excadrill couldn't keep that Mega Venusaur from moving in that final turn so that I could kill it. Kagi did everything for me. Those 3 layers of spikes put everything in range of Excadrill's hits, and it was just huge. Klefki was so good in this game, definitely the MVP of the match. Excadrill was the hero of the match though, getting 3 kills. That was amazing. Manaphy also got a kill, and Tyranitar got a kill, and that Zoroark died from Life Orb Recoil. So really good game, maybe. I feel happy about it since I won, but there was a lot of hacks involved, and I do feel bad about it, but I don't feel, I'm not going to give it back or anything. Hacks happens, it's Mons. If you don't like hacks, play another game, or something like that. But yeah, really happy about this win, and next week we got probably the best team in the league, Leo and Matt, who I've never faced in this format. I did play him a long time ago in a game, and I won that, but we'll see what happens here. So that should be really good. We're going to be back on Showdown, unfortunately, unless he fixes his Wi-Fi, but that hasn't happened yet. So hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you for Week 4. Peace.